similar to I wanted to throw Worker Ant in with Alex Payne and Joe Gacy. Same thing. I think that this clash is going to be. It's not going to be a bad clash of styles. I think it's going to be a good clash. Two styles. Sometimes that doesn't really work out too well, and I think on this note, I think that it will work out.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing to move into that next match. Worker Ant is a bruiser. He's definitely the bruiser of the colony, as most people know. Joe Casey, again, hardcore. He's definitely one of the hardcore guys, and I think he's in Tournament of Death this year too, for CZW. I know he's had some really hardcore matches with Tim Donst in their feud. And then Alex Payne is someone who I've only seen once. I saw him at On Point. He took on Gran Akuma. But I was pretty impressed with how he hung with Gran Akuma, because Akuma is such a great wrestler and such a difficult opponent to face. So I was really impressed with how he hung with Gran Akuma.
Yeah, and he's one of the guys that I actually trained with when I started training. So I've known him, and I've been on road trips with him for quite a number of years, at least from 2008 to about 2012. We both trained. He was in a class before me, but he would always come in and train with us. And yeah, I've known him for a while, so I know what he brings to the table for sure. And Joe Gacy, been a fan of his. But again, did you see when? What was the tag team that Joe Gacy was in CZW? The Runaways?
I think so. I can't remember who he was in it with though.
I think that's him. He was in the Runaways, and they had a match in CZW with Ophidian, and they had it was the Osirian Portal and them, and they did this really, really cool comedy thing where they got hypnotized.
Oh yeah. Hypnosis.
And I loved it. I loved it, and that's again a kind of a clash of styles. As the Osirian Portal is high, kind of your high flying stuff, and the Runaways were more of a bruiser type of style. Right. But it was situations where it's a good clash. I love when styles, when different styles come together, and they have to figure out, how am I going to win with my style versus this guy that's this style. And sometimes I think, in my opinion, there's bad clashes, a really, really bad clash in wrestling. When you have one guy that's one style and one guy's the next, I thought that Hulk Hogan and Billy Kidman was a very bad clash of styles. And it didn't work. The fans didn't like it. And I know that was Vince Russo's idea to do that, and I can see where Vince Russo makes a great, he had a good reason to do it, and he always has good thought of why he's doing it. But you just kind of look at it and you think, it's Hulk Hogan and Kidman. It just isn't going to work. It's not going to gel. And Hogan and Rowdy Piper had a great, that's magic, but Hogan and Kidman just didn't work, and that was a clash a bad clash. But with, and yeah, so I'm hoping that these matches are going to be a good clash of styles.
Well, I think whenever you have a clash of styles, it's really highly rests on the two wrestlers kind of compromising when they're leaving. If you have somebody who's not even going, like Hulk Hogan, who's very, to me, he's not stiff in the sense of hitting hard, but stiff in the sense of unbending and uncompromising in terms of his style.
For sure, yeah, he definitely wasn't gonna allow Kidman to do much on that end, and you kind of knew that when it was happening. I think this was around 2000 WCW, and you had Vince Russo putting Hogan in these strange situations with guys. I think Vampiro was involved with Hulk Hogan, and you can see where Vince Russo says, "Well, I need my younger talent to get over better," and he's like, "Well, there's a good way to do it. Let's put him with Hulk Hogan, who's already a mega superstar."
Right.
But you kind of just knew when I'd watch it, and I would say, "Really, Vampiro versus Hulk Hogan? It just isn't going to work." And then you see the crowd reaction; it really didn't work. It didn't. But the Runaways and the Osirian Portal clash of styles and comedy involved. The CZW crowd went crazy for it. I mean, they absolutely loved it. Yeah, I'm just sorry that the vision of Greg Excellent coming out and being hypnotized from the locker room just came into my head, and that's where my head is right now, is watching him jump to the ring. That was interesting thing.
No, I think that's a good point, though. Like, sometimes the unexpected, like, especially if you have, again, the right people who will, it's not a clash, it's almost like a blending. Like, where they'll be like, okay, cool, we can work with this, we can flow with it, and we'll work with it. And kind of think both wrestlers have to kind of give and take, as such, and they really have to work together well. And I think that when you have that, though, it's kind of like makes this great, like, unexpected magic sort of happen, Yep.
That's what I'm hoping for, at least. And that's what I was thinking about when I put Current's going to be involved in making that a 3-way match. It's going to be, you have this long feud between Joe Gacy and Alex Payne, and they're going to want to crush each other when they get in the ring, but they've got this big man here that's in the middle of them. Right. So what's going to happen? I think that'll be a good clash of styles right there, for sure.
That's definitely a very interesting match, and I'm very, very much looking forward to that. And I think also with the clash of styles, really when you come down to Hot Sauce Tracy Williams versus Sanjay Dutt, I mean, Tracy Williams, who I'm familiar with, he is an excellent mat technician. He's an excellent submission wrestler. Super, super talented guy. Definitely in that grappler, which that word is becoming more popular again, kind of class, along with him and like Drew Gulak is another example. Taking on somebody who, Sanjay Dutt, is world-traveled, known for his high flying, known for his awesome like X Division stuff in TNA. Like, this guy is super, super talented, but very much more of a faster high flyer.
And I think we're starting to see a theme. We're starting to see a theme with PWE here, a clash of styles. And when I was mentioning earlier that I wanted this to be a variety show, that is all figured in on that. I don't want matches to. I really don't want the same match that these guys have in other promotions. I really wanted them to. I wanted them to expand, and that's why. As you can see, Tracy Williams, I'm a big fan of him as well. But he's one of the best guys on the mat, and definitely a submission guy. How is he gonna figure out a high flyer? Right. Like Sanjay Dutt, who's also a veteran, and I believe Tracy Williams has been in wrestling for maybe 6 or 7 years. Sanjay's probably how many? 14 years, maybe, for him.
Oh, at least.
And he's been everywhere, so.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's what I was thinking. When you put these two guys together, how is the grappler going to figure out the high flying move? How's the high flying guy going to figure out, when he tries a high flying move and he's possibly caught in a chicken wing or in whatever move that he would want to do? How is he going to figure that out? Right. So that's kind of, and I'm building it more of a battle of respect, battle for respect, as in you have a veteran and then you have a guy that's still working his way up, like Tracy Williams. So can Tracy Williams earn Sanjay Dutt's respect? But it's still a clash of styles, but it's more, that one's, I'm leaning more towards, can Tracy Williams show Sanjay Dutt something that he hasn't seen before? Can he gain Sanjay Dutt's respect as a veteran?
Yeah, I think that's a really good aspect of it. I mean, Sanjay Dutt is proven. I mean, he's been on TV, he's proven himself. But Tracy Williams is kind of up and coming. Really gotten, it's evolved and his qualifier for like the global cruiserweight series. He definitely is kind of like I said, an up-and-comer guy that's becoming more prolific. So he sort of hasn't quite proven himself on the bigger stage yet. I
think I see big things in Tracy Williams' future for sure. Absolutely. After watching some of his stuff, definitely I see him moving on and doing something bigger later on.
I definitely can't disagree with that at all. Not from what I've seen from Tracy Williams and knowing what I do of Tracy Williams. Yeah, I really can't disagree. And I want to talk a little bit about the women's match. You're gonna have Jenny Rose, who has been in the USS for a few months now, maybe a year or so. But she has extensive training in Japan. And she's taking on someone who I'm actually not familiar with, who I've never heard of before. A new lady, Helen Vale.
Yes, Helen. I have never met Helen myself, but Jenny Rose, I trained with her as well. So she came from the Ring of Honor Academy along with Alex Payne, myself, and a few others that we trained with. I will probably talk about them a little bit later, but Helen Vale was recommended to me by somebody through. Have you seen a WrestlePro show before? They're out of Rahway, New Jersey, called WrestlePro. It used to be Pro Wrestling Syndicate, but now I think they had a change in management, and now they're called WrestlePro.
You know, it's funny. I was there at one. I didn't actually get to see the card, but I've heard of them, and I've heard of some of the things that they're doing and whatnot up in North Jersey.
So yeah, I have a connection with WrestlePro, and they recommended me Helen Vale because I was looking for a female to again contrast Jenny Rose's style, which I know what her style is because I trained with her and I've seen a lot of her stuff. So and of course Japan gave her a whole nother dynamic. So I was looking for somebody again that she can face that she isn't used to, or somebody new. And I was recommended Helen Vale. She's a young up and coming wrestler, and she's been throughout the Northeast. So she'll do like the Boston, Rhode Island, upper New Jersey area. She's making a name for herself over there, and I thought she would. I watched some of her matches, and I thought, okay, let's do it. Let's put those two together and see what happens.
How would you define Helen's style?
I would say she's not as big as Jenny Rose is physically, but she's more aggressive. I would say in the ring, very, very aggressive, and I know Jenny's probably been in some aggressive matches, of course, in Japan, but Helen Vale has really, really good ring presence, and it's she's gonna be a force, which I think Jenny is used to, at least in America. She's maybe used to being the aggressor in her matches as through her training, but I think she's gonna be surprised with Helen Vale and how she's gonna come out in this match.
Very cool. That'll be excellent. Now another match, we were talking again about characters, and this one I'm looking forward to seeing because I've seen him before, but I'm not as familiar with Habib from the Car Wash.
Yes.
I have seen him before, and I think that's such a great character. I just absolutely love it, and I love his name. I love the whole thing of it. I think it's hilarious.
I think it's my favorite wrestling name ever. I think it's number one.
It might be because it is the whole thing. It's not just Habib. It's Habib from the Car Wash. It's very specific.
Yeah, and when I first saw that, I thought, oh, he's Habib. He's from the Car Wash. No, this is Habib from the Car Wash.
That's his actual name.
That is one word.
I think out of group, I've been to PWS events before, and they have a lot of different kinds of characters there. You know, from like the epic Starman, who doesn't love Starman, but I thought like Habib from the Car Wash was like a character that really stood out in this group that had a lot of characters. He was one of those ones that really kind of stood out.
Yeah, he's doing really well for himself in WrestlePro. He's able to get in the ring through WrestlePro with guys. I believe he faced Rey Mysterio Jr. not too long ago, and yeah, WrestlePro's an opportunity because their management over there. I'm assuming they have great connections in the world of wrestling, and they're bringing in guys like Habib from the Car Wash to wrestle, and he's getting so much experience. I love the character. I love the name. I'm super excited to see him. And again, he's not at least from the matches that I've seen. He's a really good wrestler. He's not doing a lot of like comedy, you would say. Right. But I think with putting him with Kefka is again going to be. It's still going to be a clash of styles, which I'm excited to see how they interact in the ring with each other. Like, how is Habib gonna react to when Kefka's pulling his stunts that we've seen Kefka do, in the past. So yeah, Habib for the car wash is awesome from what I've seen. I'm excited to